We all know the age-old advice. Oil changes every 3,000 miles for your vehicle, but this midday we're learning that number isn't necessarily the same for each vehicle. Casey Jordan is our automotive expert with us now to let us know what really works best, something we could all really use. We do have that 3,000 number in our mind. What should we really focus on?
Well, one thing you should really focus on is your owner's manual, because that's really going to tell you when to change the oil on the manufacturer's recommendation. There is no harm in changing your oil every 3,000 miles. The old oil is reconditioned and reused and recycled, but you're probably spending more money on oil changes than is absolutely necessary. There was a time when oil wasn't as good as it is today, where you needed to have it changed every 3,000 miles. But you need to read your owner's manual, and some vehicles now have monitors that tell you in a dashboard warning when it's time to have your oil changed. And some of those oil changes are up to 12,000 miles. Oh,
that's a big difference, especially
yes.
if you're paying for 3,000 every time until then.
Yes.
Okay, now I know you have some bottles here that when we go get our oil changed, so many of us are faced with the big mix, and they say, you know, do you want this one? Do you want that one? How do we know what to choose? Well,
there's been a big change in motor oil that's starting that started last year and is becoming in effect this fall. And what happens is on motor oil, on the back of every can of motor oil, there is a rating of the motor oil, and we're now changing to a new rating of SN, and that is the latest motor oil that's out there. And you'd want to look here in the back, and this one actually has the SN rating to it. This is an older bottle of motor oil. So what this rating is they have a new standard that is by the American Petroleum Institute that says this is the latest motor oil, and this is what the manufacturers want you to use in that car. It's important to go with the latest motor oil for your engine, because some of the technology in your engine and some of the moving parts require a different motor oil. So you have to be very careful to make sure that you're getting the right motor oil for your engine. There's always the weight of the motor oil, but now you also have to make sure you're getting the proper grade.
So how do you know which one's proper for your vehicle? Is this something that we also see in our manuals?
Yes, it should tell you. Now, specifically, General Motors has a new motor oil which follows that new rating of SN. And it's called Dextrol. And if you don't use that type of motor oil while you're under your General Motors warranty, you could lose warranty coverage.
Okay, so where do we go to get the oil changed? We still have to do it. We still have to, you know, we know what to get. Now, where do we get it?
Motor oil is so easy to change on most every vehicle. If you have a high-line exotic vehicle like a Ferrari or Lamborghini, you're best to take it into the shop. But the majority of all the vehicles that our viewers are going to watch can be changed at a Jiffy Lube, you know, any sort of type of Quaker State place, any sort of place you go. You can always go to your dealership to have it done, but really it's one of those very simple tasks that really any very basic mechanic can cover for you.
Casey Jordan, thanks so much for your help. Now we know, don't necessarily have to pay for it every 3,000 miles.
Right.
That could put a pretty penny back in our pocket.
Exactly.
Thank you. If you have a question for Casey, you can always email him at casey@kview.com. He will be back here next week answering some more of your questions.